Writing? Nice. Reading? Even better. Reading your own writing? Ooh. If you'd like to stop suffering, this video will show you how to stop cringing at your own writing. You'll finally be free. By the way, if you're new here, hi, I'm Katri, I'm your new writing bestie, and this is Protagonist Crafts, the place for people who are kind of obsessed with the whole writing thing. I could talk about writing all day, every day, but if you'd only like to tune in a couple of times per week, you should subscribe to Protagonist Crafts. Do it. Do it now. There are absolutely no side effects, I promise. Before I tell you how to stop cringing at your own writing, we need to talk about why is this happening? And I know you probably don't want to hear this, but is cringing at your writing actually a problem? Because what you're experiencing there is a feeling in your body. It's not that deep. It's just a feeling in your body. Why are you letting it rule over you? Also, why are you trying to avoid a feeling? That's kind of weird and sort of pointless. Again, let me remind you, it's just a feeling in your body. Why are you so afraid of it? Or perhaps are you putting some kind of a meaning to the feeling that isn't actually there? Because here's the real truth. Feeling icky about your writing, it doesn't actually mean anything at all. It means that you feel icky when you're reading or writing. Why that might be? Well, perhaps you had this image of your writing in your head and then your real writing, it just doesn't compare. Or perhaps you're just feeling sort of naked and bare reading your own writing and that makes you scared. But again, it doesn't actually say anything about your writing. It's just stuff going on in your head. So why is it a problem? Why do you need to avoid it? And I don't know if you know this, but it's okay to write badly. It's actually not a problem. You can decide to write as badly as you possibly can. And you know what would happen? Nothing. Absolutely nothing would happen if you wrote badly. The world, in fact, will not end. And don't fall into the very silly trap of believing that being earnest and authentic is somehow cringe and something to be avoided at all costs. You can't be all cool about your stories unless you want to leave your readers feeling lukewarm. That is not great writing. That is what you should be avoiding and not feeling bad. If you want to do writing stories properly, you can't do it all ironically and distantly and not really meaning it. If this is your primary problem, just know that the only people who would ever judge you for being cringe are the people who are equally afraid of being earnest and authentic. Why do you need to listen to them? You don't. Also, don't worry, you'll grow out of it in a couple of years, I promise. And again, it's not that deep. It's just writing, it's just a feeling. So how do you actually deal with that feeling? And let me tell you first that writing your first drafts is actually kind of like meditation. And no, please don't this is relevant. Don't put the video away, okay? We're going to talk about meditating. So a lot of people have this silly misconception that they can't do meditation because they're not good at it. They just have too many thoughts. So if they try to meditate, they just have all these thoughts and therefore they can't do it because they're not good at it. But actually, there's no such thing as being good at meditation. And if you could instantly empty your mind from all the thoughts, there would be no need for meditation. So what you actually need to be doing when you're sitting there trying not to think of anything, when you get a thought, which you invariably will do because you're a human, you just go, thoughts. And then you just continue trying not to have thoughts. You don't go, oh no, I was thinking again, I suck, this is pointless, wah, wah, wah. No. So to get back to writing, the point of your first draft is not to be good writing because it's very, very difficult to produce stellar work without getting crappy work out there first. So if you want to write well, you need to write poorly at first. And when you're reading something you just wrote and you come across something that isn't that good, there's no need for you to go, oh no, bad writing. Oh, I'm a terrible writer. Wah, wah, wah. No, stop it. You just go, bad writing. And continue reading, continue editing, continue writing. That's it. If that feels difficult, maybe try meditating sometimes. And there's another very silly misconception that some writers have is that Yes, I know. I know first drafts, they're supposed to be messy and crappy and bad writing. However, that doesn't apply to me. No, I need to be perfect on the first try. I can bypass that somehow by just thinking really hard before I write my story, and that way I can make it perfect and I can avoid the messiness of first drafts. Yay, I won at writing. Now that is a fantastic recipe for writing really slowly or at worst not writing at all. And you know what? Your writing won't even be that much better. Do you know how your writing gets better? By writing a lot and then rewriting a lot. That's it. There are no magic tricks or mind control tricks needed. You're not going to be that special person whose first draft is flawless, and why would you want to be? What's the point of that? Oh, you don't want to feel bad when you're reading your writing? Just rewind back to the beginning of this video, bestie. You're better than that. We just talked about this. Let's say it together. It's just a feeling. How to write better is such a big subject that it would be really impossible for me to cram it all into one video, and I wouldn't even want to try. And in fact, that kind of sort of like writing tips sort of videos are not really my favorite ones to make. However, you should check out my blog. I've got all kinds of blog posts about nitty-gritty details of writing great stories, so do check them out. Do you have any requests for subjects? Do let me know in the comments, and while you're at it, do lightly tap the like button. This so-called good writing is a combination of many different skills, and you will never be excellent at all of them. Sorry, I know that hurts, but it's the truth. You'll just have to make do. And you can compensate with the things that you know that you are good at. Some self-awareness actually is a good place to start from. So what are your weaknesses? And I know that it's such a job interview type of question to ask, but really, you need to know that so that you can actually improve those things or compensate for those things. Why are my cats fighting here when I'm trying to work, guys? I will have no money for kibbles. Unbelievable. My personal Achilles heel in writing is writing action, and I don't mean like explosions and gunshots. I've never actually written about explosions or gunshots. Maybe I need to try. But I mean, like, what are characters doing with their bodies, when they're talking and stuff, and like, how are they walking across the room? And if there's something like a scuttle with a stray dog, and just all the how to describe it, it's very difficult for me. And I think it's because I just always feel sort of strange in my body, which I'm sure you know if you've watched a few of my videos. I never know what to do with my hands. So I think that's why I've got difficulty with that stuff. But what I don't find difficult is like dialogue and interesting descriptions, writing feelings, stuff like that. And that helps me know that what I need to focus on first when I'm editing my writing. And by now you might be like, well, good for you, Katri, but I don't know what my weaknesses are. I just know that something is wrong. Well, then you might need some outside help. So ask for some feedback on your writing from someone who knows what they're doing and someone who can, voice their thoughts and opinions in a useful way. If you'd like me to roast your writing, I'd love to do that on video. And when I say roast, I mean just lightly jar it. But I know, yucky, you don't want to share your writing with other humans. Gross. If you're not quite there yet, what you need to do is read the writing of people whose writing you appreciate. That was a very clunky sentence. I'm sorry. Read writers who you appreciate and just look at the writing really critically. Just like dissect it. Like you're dissecting a frog and you want to know what its liver looks like. What do you actually like there? What do you find enjoyable? How has that been executed? And then, do you have that in your own writing? If not, how could you put it in there? I've got a wonderful collection of free writing exercises, so if you'd like to check that out, it's, the link is where links usually go. Writing exercises are much better than just like passively reading writing tips and hoping you'll remember them. You will actually apply those tips, and in this collection, I will explain what you're learning with each exercise. Now, let's talk a little bit about editing, and I mean a little, because that again is a massive subject that I may or may not film, create an entire video around or not. I don't know. If you'd like to hear about why can't I talk today? Why can't I talk any day, actually? If you'd like me to talk about editing in depth, I should just resign, but I can't because I'm the boss here. Anyway, if you'd like me to talk about editing in a full video, let me know. I might do that. But yeah, let's talk about it a little here. So if you look at editing, like, all right, I've written my first draft. Now I need to edit it. I'm starting from page 1. And I will proceed to the last page and I will edit everything inside, except I know that you need multiple rounds of edits. So I'm going to start again and I'm going to fix everything I see, except didn't I already fix everything? Why does it look more like a mess than it did before? I am a terrible writer. I need to stop writing and become an accountant. Don't do that. That is a terrible idea. Don't. So what you need to do instead is to have a focus for each round of edits. What do you think she's doing there? This is... What are you doing? I love you. I'm working. Jesus. So you need a focus for each round of edits, and you need to start from big things and move on to small. And I don't just mean you need to start from revisions and then go to editing, but even with the big picture changes, you need to start from the very biggest, so like your plots and stuff, and then move on to things that you personally know that are going to be your biggest things to fix. Like for me, it's going to be like my first drafts, they're very dialogue heavy, so it's like talking head, so I need to add all the stuff around that. So do it like that and just keep your focus in mind for each round of edits so that you will actually be addressing the issues that you need to address. And that is going to produce a lot better writing than if you were just randomly fixing everything that you can. And when you do all that, it doesn't just make your writing better, but it's also going to give you a sense of control over your writing. So even if it's a terrible mess at this point, which is fine, writing can be a terrible mess and it means nothing. You've done some writing. Congratulations. You should be proud of yourself, you moron. I mean, you lovely person. Please be proud of yourself. I love you. So you don't need to be like waiting for this magical trick that is going to fix everything, and you don't need to wait to become a different person. Just work at it. It is work, and that's what writing is, but you can do it. I have full faith in you that you've got it in you. So let's move on to the utter horror of other people reading your writing. It's the worst, right? Except the only thing worse than that is nobody reading your writing. So really, what are you actually afraid of when it comes to other people reading your writing? Are you going to drop dead if everyone doesn't absolutely love it? Is writing completely pointless if you don't get 5 out of 5 stars every single time? It's the same kind of I need to be perfect on the first try kind of attitude coming out here. So you think that if you can't be perfect, you can't be 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10, then it's pointless. And it's like, not every opinion is useful, but at the same time, you can't contest someone's experience of your writing. If they misunderstood something that is obvious in your writing, then sure, go ahead and, correct them. But was it obvious there actually? Did you maybe not write it as clearly as you could have, or are they simply bad at reading? That's something that you will have to find out. And also, many opinions about your writing don't actually have anything to do with the quality of your writing. So, there you go. People will have opinions. Do you have a best friend? Do you have a partner? What do people think about them? Do everyone love them? Or could perhaps someone think that they are annoying, kind of weird looking? Well, it's the same thing with your writing. It doesn't take any of its value away that somebody doesn't love it. So no need to develop all this inner drama about it. And listen, you are allowed to have feelings. So when someone reads your writing and they go like, "Bleh, disgusting," then yes, you are allowed to say, "Ouch, that hurts. Ugh, why do you wound me so?" That is totally fine. Feelings are allowed. But what happens next is what matters. So what are you going to do with that feedback? And are you going to go on this rampage on social media about these mean people who are giving you 1-star reviews? I definitely haven't seen this in real life. I don't know any people like that at all. And are you really looking for feedback to stroke your ego, or do you want to improve your writing? If you want to hear the opinion of someone who isn't you, then be prepared to hear something that you weren't prepared to hear. You also really don't want to stay in an echo chamber with writers who aren't actually any better than you are. and who will never improve because you all just keep each other on the same level, never daring to give any critique to each other and never learning from any critique that you hear from other people. Again, definitely something I've never seen. No, absolutely not. Staying too comfortable will stagnate your writing and it will never improve, and you will never get from that level of cringe to something that you could be proud of. You want it to be a better writer, right? Well, then your goal can't be to feel good all the time. Do you hear me? But really, it is just writing. And that isn't something you hear me say a lot, just writing. But really, it is just writing. It isn't that deep. I know it's personal. I know for me, this is my life's work. But still, it isn't me. Nobody is attacking me if they're saying something about my writing. If they want to attack me, then, they're welcome to come here and fight me. I don't care. There's just literally no need to go and lick your wounds because nothing has happened to you. And I know, just if you've suffered from bullying or from overly critical parents or from a emotionally abusive partner, then I truly understand that it can feel like getting critique is excuse me, you can't do anything. It can feel like getting critique, getting negative feedback. It can feel like actual danger, but that is only your nervous system playing a trick on you. It isn't actual danger. You are safe. Nothing has happened to you, bestie. It's just writing. It'll be okay. So those were my best tips for not feeling cringy about your own writing, and I hope you got the most important one, which was that feeling bad is not a problem. What's your goal again? Is it to feel good at all times at any cost? Yeah, I thought not. So focus on the things that you actually want and that you can actually control, which is continuing to work on your writing. Cringe and embarrassment, they're just feelings in your body. And again, it's just writing and it's not that deep. Again, if you'd like an easy way to make your writing better, do check out the free creative writing exercises collection in the description. If you liked this video, I've got many more that you might want to enjoy, and let me tell you, I cringe at myself every time I'm filming and editing, and I still publish these videos, so you're welcome.